Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our open forum synergy training. I wish you all a very happy, healthy new year. Okay, so as always, we're here to answer any questions you might have, places you're stuck or don't have how to go, don't know where to go or have come across some things in your cases or in your practice that you'd like to look up but don't know what to do. So just post. Maggie's here with me and she'll be monitoring the chat and the Q&A box. Okay, so somebody asked, when you open the repertory, I'll just open this here and I will switch off cross references for now. Okay. And also let's switch on remedies. Okay, so this user asked, okay, here we go. So somebody asked when I open a chapter in the repertory and I see that there are a lot of remedies and it only shows a few, and then you have this little option here to show more. And they wanted to know if they can bypass this and see all the remedies right away. And actually, that's how it used to be in the older version of the program. But then what would happen is that you wouldn't see that many rubrics, especially with something like alternating states. The 499 remedies would pretty much take over the entire screen or in, this window. And then you wouldn't even see the next rubric after it. So as a way to facilitate navigating through the chapter, we truncated the remedies. So you see, depending on what option you choose here, because if you choose to view your remedies by grade, then you'll see the most important remedies in that rubric come up first. And you'll see those. And then if you want to see all the others, you can click on show more. So the short answer is you can't skip that step anymore. And all rubrics that have, I think, remedies beyond, I'm going to say 50, but I don't know what the exact number is. So it will show the first 40 or 50 remedies, depending on how you're seeing them, either alphabetically or by grade. And then you do have to click on show more to see the rest. And this allows you to see many more rubrics and like sort of a bigger picture as you scroll through the chapter. So that was one of the questions asked. The other question was, how can I search for a word in the repertory within a certain remedy? So for example, and they gave an example. So they want the repertory to be limited to a certain remedy, and then they want to search for a particular word within it. So generally, what you can do, obviously, is within a chapter, you can type. So here's a little magnifying glass, and if you click on it, you can type whatever it is that you're looking for. And let me make this bigger so you can see. And so then here, when I click, you can, whoops, let me see. You can choose to match the whole word, match a few words, have that, whatever you've typed, either start with that or anywhere, etc. So you have all these options, but obviously here we're not limited to a certain remedy. And so the best way, for me, the fastest way always is to use global search. And let me move this out of the way. So the example that the user gave was they wanted to search for edema within the repertory for all the rubrics that have Medusa in them as a remedy. So what I would do is, and you can even choose the repertory. So you can even make the search more refined than that. But since they want to search in the repertory, so I will unselect reference library, and then I will type. So I can do this two ways. I can obviously type edema, and then I can type Medusa here, or I can go up to the filter, and I'm only searching repertories, and I would come down here to remedy, and then I would type Medusa. So I think, I wonder, yeah, this one, and say apply. So now when I put the filter of Medusa in it, this filter button goes pink or red or purple, depending on how you see it, but it changes color. And so now you can see it's a repertory search for edema only within Medusa. So I hit the search button. And now, since we didn't select a particular repertory, it's going to give me the results that it found in all the repertories that I own. And so here are they. Since I have the complete 24 pinned to the top, it gives me that result first. And actually, I have complete Suggesta and Sensation pinned to the top. And if anyone doesn't know how to do that, I can show that as well. But those are the three repertories that I happen to have pinned here. And you can see that it will give me those results first. So obviously, sensation repertory is a repertory of sensations. You're not going to find a pathology in it. So it gave me the results for the complete and Suggesta first. And you can click through and find the rubrics that it has brought up. You can see that Medusa is in all of them. And I think that this is the fastest way and the best way to do this search. If you noticed, I also have the option to select a specific repertory to run this search. And if I do that, so let's say Murphy has, so let's type Murphy. And so now I'm going to run the search for edema within Medusa only in Murphy. So I hit apply. I want to keep the old search. I don't want to overwrite this search. So I will click on the plus button rather than the search button. If I click the search button, it will override that old search. So I'm going to click on the plus button. And you can see now I have a second search with only Murphy, and edema and Medusa. And there's only one remedy, one rubric that comes up. So that would be the way to refine your search or to run a search. You can run that search for a family, a remedy, a grouping within a particular book, and you can choose the words. I mean, I could also say, so let me get rid of that search, and I would click on that pink button. For me, it appears as pink. And I can also say edema in the same remedy. So I'm looking within Medusa, all of Medusa, anywhere, edema, as well as, I don't know, dryness, let's say. I'll just put dry. And then we could come back here, and this time I won't limit the books, but I can still limit the remedy, or I could limit it to a grouping. So let's see. Let's try mammals and say apply. And now I can keep those two searches, and so I will hit the plus button. So I guess there are not that many mammal remedies in the repertory with edema and dryness. So let's modify the search and see if only edema comes up, this time for the family. And this time I can hit search. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can hit search. It will override my previous search, which didn't yield any results anyway. So let's do that. And so now when I run the search for mammals, you can see that edema does come up in several areas, chapters in several repertories. So that's how you can craft a search. What else? So there are a couple of other questions that this user asked, but I would also like to address if there are any questions coming up in the chat or the Q&A, Maggie.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Roopali, about ordering the books in terms of your preference. Could you show how to do that?
Yes, certainly. So in order to, you can pin 5 books, both in your repertory module and also in your reference library. And so you can see actually 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 books pinned here in my reference library. And then I have 3 repertories pinned here in my repertory module. And the way to do that is to come to user preferences. You click on that and you can see here you will have settings for different parts of the program. So you have repertory, clipboard, reference library. And in order to pin your books at the top, you will come to repertory settings. And up here, actually, I guess I have 4. You can see the 4 books that I have pinned. And you can change this, of course, for a week you can have, and then you change your mind or a new repertory comes out. So you can go back in and change them. So I'm just going to X out of all of them. And then as soon as I click into it, your entire list of repertories comes up, you see? So you can just type and say Alan, and then Alan's comes up. And then I can say Murphy, and Murphy comes up. And then I can say Clark, and Clark comes up. And let's say I want the reliable. And so I have 4. It will let you do 5. That's the total that you can have. Let's say I pick Boraki. Oh, maybe I wonder if we limited it. Yeah, I guess. So let me find out about that because I thought we could do 5. We could do 5, but it appears to be only doing 4. So once you've done that, you're going to click out of the box so you can see your options here, and then you're going to click on Save. And what this will do is it will reload the program. So don't freak out that it's restarted the program and maybe you had things on the clipboard. We didn't have anything on the clipboard, but if you did have things in the clipboard and in the middle of working, you decided to change up your repertories, it will give you, it will restart the program, but it will save your work here. And it will give you the option to say, you didn't save your work. Do you want to save your work now? And you can see that Allen, Murphy, Clark, and the reliable are now at the top as opposed to the ones I had before. And you can do the same exact thing. So user, preferences, and then come to reference library. When you come to reference library, you can see the books I have here. You can do the same exact thing. When I click in, my list comes up, and let's say I want mollusks, and then I want something from Mangialavori, and I will put, so, his are all very specific Materia Medica books, but this is a good one. And then I can put something from Sane. Let's see. Here. And then I click on Save. And it does the same thing. It's going to reload the program with your favorite books pinned. If you had work unsaved in your clipboards, right now is when you get the pop-up that says you have unsaved material in your clipboards. Would you like to save it? And then you say yes, and your clipboards will appear here as they were, so you won't lose them. And if I go back, so it always opens in Remedy View. You have to click into books and you can see that my mollusks and Mangialavori and the sane summaries are up here at the top. So you can do this as much as you like, whenever you like.
Okay, thanks, Rupali. There's a question here from Donna.
Mhm,
She's saying, when you put a word into the search
mhm.
and there are not rubrics, but other words underlined, and you click that, are they pertinent to the original word search?
So if I type something here and no words match, but you get other words instead, is she talking about global search or
Yes, yes, global search. I suspect she's talking about cross
cross
references.
references? Let's see.
There's another question which maybe we could use as an example. Guy is asking if I have a case that the main issue is the person's image. If I put the word image in the global search window, I will get all the places where imagination is mentioned, which I do not want.
Right,
How can I
right.
click for the exact word? Sorry, that's slightly different.
That is slightly different, but it has some overlap with it because so at the moment, the program is very strictly driven off of exact words that are in the repertory, which we all know is very stringent. You know, there's no flexibility. You have to know the words in the rubric in order to pull up that rubric. Um, so the repertory itself is a very strict structure. And then the program at the moment is the search function, which is very powerful, but it is also driven off of the words as they appear, not just in the repertory, but in the materia medica. So that is a limitation in the program at the moment. But in the new version, which is a complete relaunch, we have a function called Genie. It's called Synergy Genie. And actually, Genie is powered off of like very current AI technology. And so what you can do is it's basically a chat bot. It's your assistant in the office. And you can type in your query in lay language and you can say, what are the best rubrics for somebody who's really interested in their image? And that functionality, Genie, has the capability to actually take your words and connect them with the right rubrics in the repertory. So it will pull up actually, so the right word, I think, in the repertory is not image, but strictly physically about appearance. And so, of course, now I have Allen's, and so it's pulling up all the old ones. But there are a lot of, fear of appearing weak and indifference about appearance or concerned about appearance. Generally, that's how, I mean, we think of if you translate. But what Genie could do is do that without you knowing that appearance will pull up a lot of rubrics. And image can also be about more than just appearance. So it will be able to, and I don't have that beta version on this computer. But maybe next month we'll be ready to show you what it can do. And if you're interested in a little demo, you can go to the website because we launched Genie last month in the Just Wow conference, and I did a little demo there. So that demo, that video is up. It's less than 10 minutes. You can take a look at what it can do. But at the moment, Guy, in the program, you really do need to know the synonyms. I mean, we could type image here and see the synonyms that come up, but the synonyms are generally not driven off of a homeopathic dictionary. They're driven off of a regular dictionary. So I'm not
Rupali,
sure. Yeah, go
sorry
ahead.
to cut across you. Guy is just saying that if you search the word image as a single word in reference works, you get results.
Yes. And so reference works, obviously. So here, if we do image and we run this search, I'll do the plus. You you will get a lot of results that, you know, but you can see that you can get delusions, images, phantom sees. It's going to pull from the materia medica, but it's going to pull the word image. It's not going to pull a lot of other materia medica or rubrics that might be relevant to the issue of being concerned about your image. But so I have a bad body image at the moment. That's definitely about being about your image. But then we have bioliminal technology and his image. So it at the moment, the program is more literal. But the next version, which we are going to release very soon, we're hoping optimistically in the first quarter of this year, will have that ability to extrapolate meanings from what you say you want. I don't know. I mean, there's no direct answer I can give you other than to say you would have to type image and pull up materia medica, or you would, need to know that appearance will pull up a lot of rubrics. And there is a book that I used to love when I first started working in homeopathy, which is about the mind symptoms. And let me see if I can pull it up from my. I have to find it, but I can definitely post it. I can send you the name, Guy. It is what it would do is it would look at specific qualities and then it would look at all the rubrics that would apply for that quality. And I found that very useful just to learn how to navigate in the mind chapter. So I can definitely send you the name of that book.
Guy is saying, yes, I get you, but it brings imagination, which I did not request.
Imagination in materia medica or in repertory? Because I'm looking at my materia medica search and I don't see imagination. I only see image and images.
I think it's in repertory.
Yeah, so I unselected the repertory
Mhm.
and I only ran it as a materia medica search. Um,
He's saying scroll down from your screen, the screen you're on.
okay, still saying image, images.
Mm.
I mean, it's a huge result. Let me click out. There's, 1,100, there's 8,000 references, but possibly all the way at the end, maybe. Still saying images.
It's a very broad search anyhow, isn't it?
Okay, I'm all the way to the end of my search and I only have, I mean, I'm at zinc, which is the last remedy. And
Guy
it's
is saying, okay, okay, thanks.
okay.
Roop-
I mean, I can just send us some screenshots, Guy, and then, maybe we can take a look and see what's going on in your program. It shouldn't go to imagination. Let me run the search again with repertory and see what happens. It should not go to imaginations because the spelling is different. Yeah, send us a screenshot. Let us see why your program is going to imagination. It shouldn't go to imagination.
He's saying, okay, he'll send screenshots.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So can we go back then to Donna's question? When you
Yes.
put a word the search and there are not rubrics but other words underlined and you click that, are they pertinent to the original word search?
They are pertinent to the original word search because they are cross-references. And so they might not be direct overlaps, but they are hints. In some cases, they send you in the direction of something that's completely pertinent, but it's a different way of wording it. And sometimes there are suggestions and ideas that have an overlap with your original search. So that's what cross-references are. Let me show you over here.
You know how to turn on cross references because if you don't have the cross references
I
turned on,
know, then they don't show up. Yeah, yeah. Okay, and we have them turned on. So let me run this search again and see if cross-references come up. So the thing is that with image, of course, there's tons of. Can Donna suggest the word? Can tell us the word that she used to run the search, which then didn't have any direct results, but had other options instead? Because
Donna,
image won't work. Image is an actual word in the repertory.
Donna, fear of crows.
Fear of crows. So fear within 3 words of crow. I'll run that. So actually, I don't get anything in the repertory because crows is not there. And in reference library, I get 2 results. Let me see if we have. Yeah, my cross references are turned on. Is she getting fear of birds instead as a possibility?
Yes, she's saying.
Yeah. So crows as a specific is not a rubric in the repertory. Um, she might get a hit in Materia Medica. I mean, there's a specific actually fear of the crows. Um, but it will take you to fear of birds instead. And, crows are a subset of birds. Or you can look at it as signature information. Maybe if the other themes match, if the person has a very strong fear of crows and all of the other Materia Medica matches, then maybe you're looking at Corvus, but it's not going to come up as a specific rubric.
She's asking how to turn on cross references.
Ah, okay. So there are 2 ways to turn on cross references. One is turns them on more permanently, and one turns them on temporarily. So if you do it, so when you're here, you're in the repertory module, this little eye lets you change your view settings anywhere you see the eye. So if you change them from here, you click on it, go all the way down, you see cross-reference. If you click on it, your cross-references are now turned on permanently, no matter which repertory or which chapter you are in. So I'm gonna say, if I deselect, say okay, you see this flashed at the back and all of the cross-references went away. If you want to only temporarily turn on cross-references for the time that you're working in the chapter that you're working in, you're going to do it from inside the chapter. So we're in the mind chapter of the 2024 complete. And if you go to the eye icon here and turn on cross-references, say okay, you get cross-references just for this chapter in this repertory. If I go back to reliable, let's say, and I open the abdomen chapter here, you see that the cross-references are not turned on because I only temporarily turned these on for this chapter. If you do it from inside the chapter, it's a temporary turn on. If you do it, so let me close these chapters. If you do it from here, which is the main repertory module screen, then it will turn them on permanently everywhere. Maggie, did you raise your hand?
No, if I did, I didn't mean to. Sorry.
Okay, okay, no worries. Okay. Um, okay, so that's how you turn them on and off. What else do we have, Maggie?
Um, we do have a question here from Guy again to say, if you search the word wrongfully, which is recognized by the program, you get all results with wrong, and inside this huge list, you will find the wrongfully hits. So that's the proximity exact word, isn't it?
Yes. So you would have to search. So it depends. I don't think you can do that. Wait. So
Yeah,
you
in the
can't,
next.
yeah, you can't do that here. So if you search for wrong, I mean, for example, if you search for fear, it will also search for fearful, and fearfully, although I don't think that's a word, in the repertory or material, but it will search for all words that have that root word that you searched for. But what you can do is, if you know that you're searching only within a particular repertory, or you're searching only for fear, then you can come here and you can just say fear. Okay, let me go in there. Fear. And then go here and say with related words. So whole word. And not, if you say whole word with the related word, then it will search for all the others, but we only want the whole word. And if we do that, then it should not search for fearful. It will only search for fear. So you could do that for your rubrics, at least, in the repertory. But in global search, it is set up to search for all related words as well. So it will search for wrongfully. If you're only, go ahead.
Rupali, in the next version, in Viva, one of the additions that they have made is that they have added to the proximity language there, which you had
The
put up a
exact,
moment ago.
yes.
They have exact word added.
Yes, yes. So in the next version, there are a lot of new functionalities and refinements coming. Um, and yeah, we'll have to have multiple training sessions to show off everything, because that's a complete restage of the program. Um, okay, what next?
Mm. Mm.
Okay, while you look. So, if I like, so I'll go back to the email that I have. If I like to upgrade a symptom in a repertorization and I select the rubric, um, and I type 2 or 3, nothing happens. How can I upgrade a symptom? Well, something should happen, but I will show. So here, let's see. Let me get rid of this. So we'll put some rubrics, and we'll put discoloration, and let's put arthritic complaints. Okay, so here we have a clipboard. If you want to upgrade a certain symptom or a rubric, there are 2 ways to do it. So you can just highlight, and then you can press 2, 3, or 4. So I'm pressing 3, and you can see it will underline it with 3 lines, and it will physically actually move the rubric up to the top, because now that is the most important rubric. The repertorization also changed to reflect that. Um, and if you want to take it off, you can just, I believe you can press 0 and it will go away. So you can use your clipboard very quickly. You can change the grades of the rubrics that you have in your clipboard. If for whatever reason that doesn't work, I would encourage you to reload the program, because it might be just glitching somewhere. And if you reload the program, that should work. The other way to do this is to do a right click. So if you have a PC, you can do a right click. And if you have a Mac, you can hold down the control key and then tap or click, and you get this menu which allows you to manipulate that rubric in your clipboard. And here you go all the way down to grade. And you can see that you have all these options to either upgrade or downgrade a rubric. And I can also just then tap 3 and it will do the exact same thing. So it's a couple of clicks to do it. Obviously the keyboard pressing 3 is much faster. But for some reason, if it's not working, you also have this menu, which allows you to do that. So here you can group rubrics, you can copy, delete, and grade them. So that was another question that had been asked.
While you're on the clipboard there, Rupali, Guy is asking, can I duplicate a clipboard or do I need to copy and paste all the symptoms from one clipboard to another?
I don't know if you can duplicate a clipboard. I mean, I would just hold down the shift key and copy these, and then you can either say copy rubric, come back here, and then paste. And I mean, that's the fastest way I know to duplicate. And now you have 2 clipboards that are duplicates. I don't think if you come here, there, I mean, we could think about adding another button here that says duplicate, and then you would just select clipboard 1 and say duplicate, and it would create a second. It's a possibility. I don't think it would be too difficult to do that, but at the moment, we don't have that. So this would be the fastest way, is to hold down one, shift, hold down the rest of it. And I'm just doing, a quick, I have my MacBook set up for a double tap to do a right click. So I just tap, I say copy rubric, I create one more clipboard, come back here, double tap again, say paste, and then it just pastes them. I think that's what's available in the program now. But I think if a lot of people ask for that duplication function, then it could just be added here, probably.
Yeah. There's a question about Synergy Viva, the next version.
Mhm.
Lisa is asking, will student users get the next version of the program too?
So there is a lot of functionality coming up with Viva. Genie is just one of them. There will be a base. So what also is going to end up happening is that the entire global search feature is being revamped. It will be faster, more intuitive. The entire, whatever, 8,000, 10,000 remedies, there are some. So it will get simplified. It will be faster and more intuitive. There are other things which are in the current version of the program that are getting upgraded. So that will be the base version of Viva, which will go to every single user that currently owns the Synergy program. And that will be a free upgrade. So it's refinement and enhancement of existing features. The new features that are coming where that functionality doesn't exist, and it's a step change improvement or an addition of a completely new functionality, those will be paid for. So actually anybody, whether you have a student version or you have a regular version of the program, can pay for to add on those functions. And in order to make it more affordable, actually, each of those functionalities that are being added are priced individually. So you don't have to pay a lot of money to completely upgrade your program. You can just choose, you can say, oh, I think Genie is interesting, or I think Deep View is interesting, or I'm a student, so I would really love the enhanced reading capability. So that's interesting. So they're all very reasonably priced and they're individually priced. So you can choose what you want to pay for and add that to your program, just like you would add a book to your program. So yes, students everybody will get the base version of Viva. which will be a free upgrade. And then there will be functionality that can be paid for and added, regardless of the version of the program you have.
Okay, thank you. Robert, sorry, I missed your question there. Robert is asking, how would I look for the symptom goes 3 days without a bowel movement, and when it comes, it is diarrhea?
So so of course, I mean, I think no matter if you ask different homeopaths will tell you how to look for that symptom. What I would do is, yes, we can look for constipation lasting a specific number of days. I would also look at constipation alternating with diarrhea, because this person doesn't have a bowel movement for 3 days, and then so that's they're constipated, and then when it comes, it's diarrhea. For me, what makes the most sense is to look for constipation alternating with diarrhea. Um, and we can constipation, and I'm gonna say, so let's see what comes up. You see, alternating with diarrhea. You'll get, and right now I have Allen's, Murphy, and Clark pinned at the top. But if we look at one of the completes, and go to rectum, you'll see um, those sort of rubrics. But I don't know. Let's see, we can try constipation. Let's try this again. So I would say constipation within 2 words of 3. Within 3 words of diarrhea, and try and
And
see something.
actually, Rupali, there was a question also earlier as to how do you choose whether you're using the number 2 or number 3 there?
Oh, um, so constipation for 3 days, right? So I put the letter 2 because it's within 2 words of, there's no other way that sentence can be constructed. Constipation for 3 days, right? So I put 2, and then after that, and when it comes, it's diarrhea. That's a little bit more flowy and flexible. So I chose, and if it's alternating with diarrhea, that's 3 words. So I chose 3. I could put 5 here. The the more words the higher the number that you put between 2 words, the more flexibility you're giving to that sentence. And the lower the number, the more rigid the search. So when I say constipation within 2 words of 3, um, you're definitely limiting that, and you're saying these are the possible ways in which that sentence is going to appear. Um, and so when I said constipation 5 diarrhea, uh, I know it says it's in the repertory alternating with diarrhea. I know there are rubrics like that, but I'm also, for a materia medica search, I'm giving it much more leeway to see what other stuff can come up. So it's up to you, how tight you want to make the search versus how flexible. The more flexible the search, there will be more results, but you might have to kind of scroll through and find the things that are more applicable, because it will also pick up other things that you don't want. So the more you use the numbers, and you'll see how the results vary, and you'll get a better sense for whether 2 is more applicable or 4 is more applicable in a particular. And obviously, in your head what you're searching for. So if you think of all the different ways that that can be worded, you'll know whether 5 is better or 2 is better. Um,
And Rupali, in that particular example, you must type the word 3 there.
yes, yes. But I mean, I don't know. I think it would just because it's 3 days, because the example was 3 days, I typed the word 3. I can also try something else and just say constipation and run it with 3. And that means I'm looking for the word 3 next to constipation. I can also do constipation in the same sentence as 3, but I don't know if it'll let me do that. Actually, it won't let me do
You have to
that
type
because
the
that's,
word free.
yeah, 2 different proximity words. So we can try, let's try this, because a lot of it, listen, you can run the searches as you like. You can do things which you don't know if they're right or not, but it's not, I mean, the program's not going to yell back at you. You can do whatever you like and do as many searches, do things that seem weird, and the program, if it, you'll see the results that come back, whether they make sense or not, and then you'll rewrite the search again. I mean, that's what I do. I don't try to craft the first perfect search. The first search that I do has to be exactly right. I just go and I put things in that I think I'm looking for, and I see what comes back. And then that first result helps me to refine the search. Then I type it again. And then sometimes I run the search 7, 8 times, refining it or making it bigger or tighter, or, and so, like, that's what I would encourage you to do. It doesn't have to be exactly right the first time. Just put in what you think you're looking for and then see what comes back and then refine the search. Like, I don't know if this will work. I have no idea what will come back, but how does it matter? I'm just going to run the search and see what happens, and see it won't run it because it feels like that's a proximity word and you need something else after it. So that's why I typed it out. So 3, 3. And then, constipation, general, periodic, every 3 weeks. I think you're more likely to get 3 weeks than 3 days, but we can also see here. Let's do this and see if something comes up. 1, 2, or 3 days. So you see, so you can just go with it and see what comes, and then rewrite it and do things that seem strange, and maybe like, will that actually work? And it doesn't matter. The program will tell you if it can run that search or not. So Lisa has been raising her hand for a while. Lisa Elkin. So Lisa, if you'll type your question in, either in the Q&A box or chat box, unless that was a mistake. So then that's fine.
Roopali, there's a question here to say, how can you get those responses for constipation when you also have image and appearance open? So can you just explain that there are 3 separate tabs there?
Oh, there are 3 separate searches that we did. Remember, I said that if you press the plus button, it will keep your old searches and it will run this search as a new search. So these tabs are all my old searches that I ran at the top of the hour when we started. When we had that question, I think Guy's question about, somebody who's really interested in their image. So if I click on it, you can come back to your appearance search or image search. You see, those are all your old searches. So sometimes when not sometimes, almost every time when I'm working on a case, same patient, I keep all the old searches for that patient in case I need to go back, and then I don't have to run that search again. They're already there preserved for you. You can go back and look at them. And then when I'm done with that case, then I, reload the program, it clears everything out, and then I start the next patient. So it's a good idea to not override your search every time, but just hit the plus button. The first time, obviously, you search, and then all the other searches, you can hit the plus button, and it will run every search as a different tab. And so here's my constipation search. Of course, the last few searches, I kept hitting the search button. So like that constipation alternating with diarrhea, we kind of overwrote all those searches. But I could have kept them all by hitting the plus button. Okay.
Roopali, thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Those were all really great questions. I enjoyed answering them. I hope you got the answers. Guys, send us the image, please, of imagination showing up in an image search. Um, and if there's anything else people think of later, don't hesitate to write to us. You can write to Roopali, Roopali, at Synergy Homeopathic, or Maggie at Synergy Homeopathic, or Lucy at Synergy Homeopathic, and we'll get you the answer for what you're looking for. And I look forward to seeing you next month. We hope that we will be able to do a demo of Viva. But if not, we'll be here to answer your questions for the current version of the program for sure. Thanks. Have a great month. I'll see you. Bye bye.